Hey guys, welcome to this new video. Today I am with Nicole and we're gonna discuss about how did she launch and scale her food related brand here in Vietnam. So if you guys want to launch an F&B business, a food related products, this video is very important because Nicole has a lot of experience into that field. So today we're gonna discuss about her entrepreneurship journey as well as how did she really grow in that market. Thank you, Nicole, for being here today to discuss about your story and your business here in Vietnam.
Hi, Guillaume. Thank you for inviting me here today, and it's my pleasure to be here. My name is Nicole. Hi, everyone. Today, I would like to talk about more about my business and the journey of my company. So good luck to be here, and yep.
So you came back to Vietnam 3-4 years ago, right? Before you were in Australia. So how was it? Why did you choose to come back to Vietnam?
The reason why I chose to go back to Vietnam because, after 10 years been away, I just sort of thinking, I miss my family because majority of my family live in Vietnam. First year, I was like traveling backward and forth, and I wasn't sure, where I should be located in the future. But then, the more I live in Vietnam, the more I feel more comfortable, and I thought I needed to go back home and start doing something, and maybe it's a good place to be. Yeah.
Okay, so you launched Finesse Fresh, that is a food-related product. Can you discuss about that? How did you get that idea? How did you start manufacturing it and find your first customer?
Basically, I do genuinely have a background in hospitality industry. Back was when I was in Australia. I used to work in hospitality, many different concepts like bar, cafe, hotel, have a very deep understanding and knowledge about the industry. But then when I come back to Vietnam here, first year doing market research, I sort of feel like, oh, that's an excitement project because a lot of expats living in Vietnam and a lot of overseas people that coming from Southeast Asia as well, like Korea, Japan, Philippines, everyone over the world come to live in Vietnam. The economy grows and open. So I'm like, okay, wow, interesting. There's a lot of products available at the market and supermarket. But what really suits for the expat? And I'm, start having more idea from there. And then I know that Western people from Europe, from Australia, from America, over the world in here, they like to eat pasta. So I thought, hey, hang on a minute. What about do something like a pasta fresh sauce, like a house-made fresh pasta sauce that ready to eat meal, and everyone can just buy it off from supermarket, heat in the microwave or heat on a pan for 2 or 3 minutes, and it's ready to eat meal. It's quick and convenient and fresh.
So you got this idea just by going to the supermarket, checking that the product was not there,
Yeah.
and finally you just decided to try to manufacture it, right?
Yeah.
How was it this first step into, I don't know, finding the recipe and then getting to finally after build your own factory?
For the recipe, is pretty much from my industry. I know how things works within the industry. So at the moment, I create my own recipe as well. But I also ask a lot of advice from different chefs all over from the world, like Italian chef, French chef. Taking a bit of knowledge of the flavor, the culture, the way how they eat, and build together with them as well. Check with them first before the recipe produced. Yeah. So for the recipe, we're testing quite a fair bit. Would say probably about 3 months time before we have a full product that ready to introduce into the market.
To get this first taste of the customer, did you benchmark with friends? Did you ask them to check? And finally, you ended up finalizing your recipe and manufacturing it?
Yeah, absolutely. Have to. Because, it's a risk if I just produce the product out there to everybody with no testing. So we went to the lab laboratory and we tested several times. Within that 3 months, retest so many times until that we show, okay, it's safe, it's convenient, it's good taste, it's ready. And then we just, start setting up a factory. To be honest, it's not like a large factory. It's just small, somewhere to start with. But working together and there you go. We
Okay.
have a brand. Yeah.
So interesting. And so on the factory aspect, because you relate to that, how is it? Is it easy to get started? Did you have a lawyer helping you to set up everything?
So for the legal and paperwork, we went seek for advice before we open or register the company name or location. So we went for advice. We took in advice from a lawyer firm and also from a local firm that, as an agency, that they consulting, paperwork for people here, how to generate a business and so on. Secondly, that after we choose the location, we start jumping to set up the location, set up the factory, set up the office, then hiring people and employ them to work with us.
So you go to a law firm, you get advice from business people already like operating in Vietnam, and finally you choose to set up your entity and finally to get started and hire your first staff, right?
Yeah.
In terms now of after, like how did you manage to get your first customer? And then now you are also registered in Vinmart. So it's one of the top reputable chain in Vietnam. So how did you get into that reputable chain?
I guess it's just a long journey, So after we have the product and the location to produce the product, everything's in place and settled. We start jumping to the sales and marketing team. We're planning for, what supermarket that suit with our product and our demand clients and customer. And so we start drawing a big business plan, sales and marketing strategies, which supermarket we should enter first. And from there, we just take step by step, do whatever it takes, and for the application. And of course, it takes a long process to get to where we at the moment. We have to passing the purchasing department from Vinmart, testing our product. After that, they agree, okay, the product is great flavor, is good for the market, then awesome. So after the paperwork are ready in place, then we organize from the department, QA department from Vinmart, come into our factory, do the audition. So the audition once it's set, all the paperwork, the document, legal paperwork are ready in place, and so they're happy to take us into supermarkets.
So you choose to do B2B2C, right? So you use to sell, you use those big chain to promote your products. Do you also do B2C? So do you also target directly a customer?
I think that with B2B absolutely used in that circumstances because we need to deal with a lot of supermarket, not only just Vinmart. And the plan is in March next year, we will enter into more such as like Tops, Home Farm, or the supermarket channel as well. Yes, B2C not so much in our circumstances at this stage, but the things that we entering our product into the supermarket already. What we are doing is we have more plan of marketing strategy for how to deliver our product to the customer who are the buyer at the supermarket. Yeah, so we have multiple marketing strategy for that. For example, one of them are very popular, which you will see very common in the supermarket, that they do sampling. Obviously, we need to cook in front of the buyer, the consumer who go into the supermarket, and we let them taste, let them see the product, introducing, consulting to them, because it's a new product. Everyone needs to know what the product is and how to use it for. So basically, we need to educate about the product information and also how to use the product to the buyer, to the consumer. So then everyone will, know about us, know about our product and
Okay.
more.
So you say at the beginning that this brand was initially mostly for expats, or at least you get the taste from the expats.
Yeah.
Now are you also targeting the local market and targeting Vietnamese who would also maybe want to cook Western dishes?
Absolutely. To be honest, first we thought, the market here for expat is potential and exciting. But then the more we go for this journal, we just sort of hang on a minute. Local people and local markets are very strong here as well. And especially some new product like pasta sauce need to invent it here because everyone opens sort of different cuisine like Korean, Japan. They really like to eat international food in here, the Vietnamese. So they're willing to pay and willing to try different food, cuisine. So yeah, the local market is the biggest market for us right now.
Okay, interesting, Nicole. So, and then in terms of lesson learned, like how was the most struggling aspect that you realized while doing business, and on the other side, your defining moments or things that you managed to go through?
Top lesson learned. All right, interesting question. Yes. So I guess maybe the barrier between the different culture, because I'm from Australia, and the way I work and manage the business are differently. But then it's become difficult in here when dealing direct with employees in here because I think that it's just about a different between the cultural, the work cultural as well. But the more we generate the business, the more we learn, and we try to adopt things that work for both from the company side and also for the employee side. And right now we are in good place. We create a beautiful culture, workplace cultural. Everything go pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, so I think adaptativity or being adaptative and being flexible when you come to this part of the world, to emerging countries, is something very important. Having a culture inside your company is also very important to retain your employee. If you put effort into hiring after you want your staff to stay a long time with you, so it's also something very important that Nicole mentioned here. What would be basically your hints and your tips for someone who want to get started and do business in Vietnam?
To be honest, that because obviously everyone knows that this year, 2021, the COVID pandemic happening. So I think that first advice is waiting for this hardship pass and then start a food business because you don't want to open a restaurant, bar, and cafe and then all of a sudden 3 months or 4 months closing because of COVID. So I think that just wait for a bit until things are settled. These pandemics are gone or over, then can start a fresh business. And I think that will be very good because the economy will be open again. More people coming to the country. A lot of opportunities are open. Yeah. Well, second advice that I think that should probably do about food or drink, whether wherever other entrepreneur out there coming from and comfortable with their concept and business concept, maybe need to do market research more because especially for expat and including myself, because we are from another country to Vietnam, so we need to understand the culture, the people, the behavior of the customer or the buyer. Understand after that and all of that, then this is more in the boxes can tick and then have more business idea or food or drink or cafe, whatever that work for the market. Yeah,
I think it's interesting. When you come here, you see brands like, for instance, Starbucks, big brands, McDonald's, that are struggling a lot. I will probably make a video soon about that. And you see other brands more local like Katinat, coffee house that innovate perpetually. They always try to surf new trends and they really managed to build a brand that fits with the local and what the Vietnamese are expecting. So I think if you want to come here to do business, you also have to put on the side a little bit your foreign assumption, your foreign mindset, and try to really be emerge and try to really learn from locals. And it's, I think, from my perspective, one of the key things that you can really succeed and make a business that will really match with a certain appetite of the locals. So
Yep.
thank you, Nicole, for your sharing and your insight today about your brand. We will leave all the link below, so if you want to check a little bit what Nicole is providing here in Vietnam, you can check everything below in the description. Thanks again, Nicole, for your sharing today.
Thank you.
And I see you.
Have a good day, everyone.
Yeah, thank you,
so
Nicole.
much.
I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Been down and I'ma get it right. Dead on sight like